Hello, everyone, and welcome to our October webinar. My name is Justine Chappell. I'm the Communications and Marketing Manager for ZAPP. In today's webinar, I'm going to share with you all of the ways that ZAPP can help you market your event. As you know, ZAPP offers the weekly show information, single show e-blasts, and the mailing list to help you reach more artists, but we actually now have two brand new options to boost your exposure. These options are now available, but have not yet been widely announced, so you're getting one of the first chances to learn about and hopefully reserve these options for your event. I'm going to be giving an overview of the ways that your event listing can be found on ZAPP even before you start some extra marketing efforts. So the first way is just having the event itself, of course, is listed on the ZAPP event list. So just to demonstrate real quick, because I just want to get you an overview of every single way that your call or that your event can be found on the ZAPPlications page. Of course, the events list is linked here. And this events list is public to anybody that goes to ZAPP. You don't have to have an account in order to look at this list. So new artists or even artists that are on ZAPP can come to this list and browse for events that they want to apply to. They have several different filter options and sorting options to be able to find events in their area and the specific time frame, anything that they may be looking for. So when your event goes live on ZAPP, you will be listed on this event. And of course, folks can click on the event listing to view more information and possibly apply to the show. So because this is a publicly available page, you get that exposure just by being on ZAPP. The other way that ZAPP helps you reach artists without, any of additional service is you get the chance to be listed into our show information notification. So this is an email that goes out every Wednesday to artists that are registered on ZAPP, and artists have to opt in order to receive this promotional email. Right now we have about 56,000 artists opted in to receive it. So like I said, it's sent every Wednesday, and typically there's two sections of the show information notification. First is the upcoming deadline section. This will list events with deadlines up to 10 days out. And then the new events section, which lists events that were recently opened in the previous 10 days. So included with your service of ZAPP, you get included twice on this email. Once when your event is first published, you'll get inclusion in this email within the next 10 days. And then as your application deadline approaches, you'll get listed in as your second inclusion. I did want to talk about real quick as well with the new event section. To make sure that you are indeed included in the email like you're supposed to, you want to make sure that your accept application dates, the date that the application opens up to artists, is accurate. So when you publish your event, that it can be included because what happens in ZAPP is that your event will automatically get included based on your accept applications date. So the system will calculate up to 10 days from your accept applications date to make sure you're included that particular Wednesday. So to make that a little bit easier to understand, for example, let's say you publish your event today and the accept applications date is tomorrow. Your event should be included in the show information email next Wednesday, October 25th. But if you publish your event weeks before your accept applications date or your open date, which is great, it allows you to have everything prepared and ready to go. Your event still wouldn't be published until that following Wednesday of the open date, if let's say it was tomorrow. So it's not based on when you publish your event, but it's based on the accept applications date. So when you publish your event, if your accept applications date is in the future, you'll want to make sure that that's accurate. If you had set it to the past, you might miss that window. When you go to publish your event, just make sure that open date is correct so that you're included in this email. So this is a little screenshot too you're seeing of the notification that gets sent out to artists, and it can list several events depending on the time of year for each upcoming deadlines or new event sections. And it's a way to announce to artists the events that are on ZAPP and the ones that are about to close. Like I said, about 56,000 artists are opted into this, and only ZAPP artists receive this. But if you want to get a copy in your inbox, you'll just need to register for a free ZAPP artist account and make sure that your notification settings are opted in to receive the show information notification. This brings me to our first brand new marketing options because it's along the lines of this show information notification. We now have a new section on this feature, on this email, called the What's Hot section. This allows you to have your event featured at the top of the show information email, ensuring maximum exposure to ZAPP artists. So for just $100, you can have your event featured. Here's a little screenshot at the top above the upcoming deadline section. You'll see it's a little sponsored section, and you can have your event details, including the event summary, which is not listed for any other event in this email, but you'll get kind of more space to feature your event in this email that goes out to those 56,000 artists. So you can have your event featured once per contract period, and we only include up to 2 events each week. If we don't have 2, we might just do 1, or we might not have any sponsored that week, but we only do a maximum of 2 to ensure that those featured events are pretty exclusive. So the content of the feature will include, like you're looking at here, the logo of your event, the basic dates and details, the more info button, the location, and then that event summary. So when you purchase this feature, all you have to do is ensure that your event summary and your details are accurate and up to date. And once you pay for the feature, we'll add you to the calendar for the sponsored section of this show information email. In order to request this feature, what you would do, I forgot to pull up my Help Center. If you click on the Help tab from your ZAPP admin dashboard or navigate to the ZAPP Help Center, you can go to this Market with ZAPP page right here. So to request the show information feature, you can just click on the More Info tab there. You'll be taken to this info that I'm telling you about right now, and you can click on Submit Your Request. This will actually take you to a form where you can request any of these marketing options I'm sharing with you today. So you can simply go to here and select that you're interested in the show information feature. Again, this is the one that's $100 to be featured at the top of that Wednesday email that goes out to artists. You will just have to review the terms, give us your basic information and deadline, and you'll let us know what month you want that feature to occur. Once you give us the month, we'll confirm the exact date that your event will be featured, and you'll have the opportunity to let us know if that works for you. And then once we invoice you and you submit payment, we'll be all set, and your event will be featured in the date that we had confirmed for that Wednesday e-blast. And then we'll also send you a copy in that case. If you do purchase a feature, we'll send you a copy just so you can see it without even having to register as an artist. So the full terms and more information can be found on that help page that I showed before. Again, it's in the chat, but it's just that Reaching ZAPP Artists page here. We have some information for you there. That brings us to our next option for marketing your event, which is single show e-blasts. This is our most popular and customizable option for marketing your event to ZAPP artists. So for e-blast, when artists register for an account on ZAPP, we collect their basic contact information, which includes the state they live in. They also have the option to choose up to 3 medium categories in which they work. I'm actually going to flip to this slide real quick just to show you these are all the medium categories that we offer. And folks can choose up to 3 of those that pertain to their work or their practice. So when you tell us which states or regions you want to target, these are our region breakdowns, and the medium categories you're interested in targeting, we can then segment our promotional e-blast opt-in list based on that criteria, and we'll send an e-blast just to those specific artists. For eBlasts, we send eBlasts on Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, excluding holidays. So artists are getting these eBlasts. Artists are not getting these eBlasts every day. It's just a few times a week, depending on if they're in the region that an event decided to target to. On each of those days, we only send one eBlast to the same region to ensure that, one particular artist is only getting one eBlast on a given date. So for example, if you booked an eBlast to go to the West and Midwest on a Saturday, no one else could book an eBlast to those regions. We might schedule one that goes out to the South and or Northeast, but we wouldn't overlap them in order to make sure that your event is exclusively sent to any artist on that day. The price of the eBlast here, let's go to this page. The price is determined by how many artists are in that segmented list. So, the more that you include in your target audience, the more regions or states, the more medium disciplines you prefer to target, the higher the cost will be. We have about 45,000, a little over, artists right now opted in to receive promotional eBlasts. So you can see the breakdown of the pricing based on those ranges of emails that would be sent. So right now our max is about that $1,100 base cost. We also have the option to add an additional image to your eBlast for $25, which I'll mention in a minute, and then a social media post as well for $25, and I'll give some more information about that in a minute. Back to the kind of content of the eBlast, you can see an example here of what it would look like. The overall design of the eBlast is fixed to what we have set, but you have ability to customize the text itself. So the ZAPP eBlast will automatically pull in info from your event, including the application dates, the notifications date, the contact person and email, as well as the event summary. But even if you want your event summary to be a certain way on your event page, you can customize it for your eBlast itself. So when you request an eBlast and we nail down the pricing, everything, you'll have the chance to actually review a proof of the eBlast before it goes out, at which point you'll have the opportunity to let us know if you want a different set of information, or if you want to customize this text at all. And we can certainly make those changes just to the eBlast, so you can kind of target or dedicate your eBlast information however you'd like. If you do have an additional image, which you can include, it looks like this. We have an example here from the American Craft Made. They add an additional image, so you can see below the Apply Now button, that's what it looks like. They customize the text a little bit to fit their needs, and we always include the logo at the top of the eBlast for everyone. You can also add the social media posts, so we would post it to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or X. We would post that to our pages and then tag you if you have your own page, so that we can kind of increase that reach that we get on social media and link to your event page as well and get folks to want to apply. The process for requesting eBlast is the same as what I mentioned before. Instead of the show information on this request marketing form, you would click single show eBlast. And in this form, you would fill out the basic information, but we would ask for some, additional options. You would let us know if you'd like any of those add-ons, or then you would select the month that you'd like your eBlast to be sent. Once you select your month, we will give you a date that's available. If we don't have any available dates, we'll let you know, but we'll work with you to arrange something that works. But it is first come, first serve. So if you are looking to send an eBlast for your event, be sure to submit this request as soon as possible so that we can get you on the schedule. We can book months in advance, and we are currently right now booking a lot of eBlasts for January. So if you're interested in a January eBlast, be sure to submit this form pretty soon here. When you submit the form, you'll also tell us if you want to send the email to specific regions, in which case you'll tell us which or all of the regions you want to send to, or individual states. Now, if you choose the state option, we can send up to 5 individual states. We can't include more than 5 states. It's just the way that our list segmenting works. You can just send to 5 individual states across different regions, or you can send to regions as a whole. You'll then also tell us, once I select these, you'll also tell us the medium categories of the artists you'd like to reach, so you can reach all of them, or you can choose the ones that most pertain to your event or maybe pertain to the medium categories that you're looking to increase at your event. So if you want more glass artists, be sure to target them. Or maybe there's some that you just want, you have enough painters applying, you don't need to target painters, you can do that. Artists do opt into up to 3 of these disciplines, so there might be some overlap, which is kind of nice if they work in multiple mediums, so you'd still be able to capture some good amount of folks. And then once you submit the form, we'll be in touch in the next 1 to 2 business days with a quote as well as the date that we have available for you to send the e-blast. All you have to do is confirm those details. If the pricing isn't quite what you expected and you wanted to work something different out, we can work with you to either narrow or widen the criteria in order for you to either narrow down the amount of artists you're reaching or increase that amount. Once those details are confirmed, we'll send an invoice. And once the invoice is paid, we'll have your date secured. So we must receive payment in order to reserve that e-blast date for you. But once we have the payment, we'll be all set. And then a couple of weeks out before your e-blast goes out, we'll send a proof to you so that you can look at the content and make any changes. And once that's approved, we will be all set and we'll send it out on the date that you purchased. We have more information about that as well on our Market with ZAPP page. It's just at the top here. All this information about pricing is available, and you can take a look at some of our FAQs and our refund policy. We do have a limit of 2 e-blasts per event per year. So you could, promote your event with an e-blast up to 2 times. And in terms of timing, you could send an e-blast. I think typically 2 to 4 weeks out before your application deadline is a pretty good time frame, just from what we've seen anecdotally of folks wanting to send it out. Not too soon to the deadline where artists don't have enough time, but not too far out so that artists decide, that they'll look at it later, but then forget about the e-blast because it's so far in advance. I think the 2 to 4 week range is a pretty good one. You could also decide to send 1 e-blast right when your application opens to let artists know that, it's open, and then send one closer to your deadline as a reminder to apply. We also offer promoter pricing for events who have more than 10 events on ZAPP and want to announce or market more than 1 event in the e-blast. So if you're interested in promoter pricing, you can reach out to us and we would just kind of work that out directly. So that's the single show e-blast. Again, it's our most robust and customizable feature. The next option I want to introduce to you all is brand new, and it's the receipt ad. So on ZAPP, we have the checkout page on the artist side. So when artists purchase a product on ZAPP, they submit their payment, and you can see here, this is what the checkout page looks like. Once they submit their payment, they get a receipt on the page itself, and at which point we have 3 ad spots available so that artists can see these ads here. So what you can do is advertise your event on the receipt that each artist sees after purchasing a product on ZAPP. We have these clickable ad spots, so you'll submit the design for the ad to us, and we'll link it to your event page. And then when artists reach this page on ZAPP after checking out, they can click on it and see and get taken to your event details page. The ads are $250 for a 2-week run or $500 for a 4-week run. The max an event can be featured on the checkout page is 4 weeks. So you can either do 2 or the max of 4. And it's usually we'll start on a Monday. So, we'll put up your ad on Monday, 2 weeks or 4 weeks later. On that Monday, we'll take it down. And we can only market or only feature current events with open applications. This is not currently offered as, a general advertisement for your organization. So it's event specific. And so the other clarifying thing that this is the checkout page that, every artist will see your ad that once they purchase a product. Right now, there's approximately we've done the math, 17,500 purchases made on ZAPP every month. So every month, every 4 weeks or so, about 17,000 purchases are made on ZAPP. So while we can't guarantee, what particular month or week would be seen the most, obviously during, kind of heavy periods where folks are purchasing booths, or periods of time where a lot of applications are open and folks are purchasing their jury fees, those would obviously have some more exposure. But this is a great way to have exposure to artists that aren't even opted to receive emails, but they can see these ads once they purchase their products. The process for this, again, is by submitting this form, and you can choose the receipt ad. What you'll do is you'll fill out your information, and in this case, you'll let us know if you'd like it to go for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and then the preferred month you'd like it to run. Similar to the other processes, we'll confirm the exact dates that your ad will run and invoice you for that time period. Once we have your payment confirmed and your details, you will submit the design of the ad itself. Here are the specs. The design has to be a JPEG image and exactly 200 by 200 pixels in order to fit into that square. When we go ahead and put the ad on the receipt page, we will link it to your event page on ZAPP. So once you submit the form, again, we'll be in touch within a couple days, and we can get that process set for you. And once you submit the design to us, it'll be up to us to just add the receipt page in the coming weeks. More information about this one can be found on our Market with ZAPP page. If we go to the top and click on receipt advertisement, you can see all this information here as well. The next option we have for you to market your event is something we have offered for a while, but is still available if you're interested. So if you want, you can purchase a mailing list of ZAPP artists to send postcards and other printing mailings to. Again, artists will have to opt in to be receiving postcard mailings, but if they are opted in, their name and address will be available on the mailing list. So you can purchase this list for a one-time use of sending postcards. We don't segment the list or anything based on medium categories. We just send the entire list. The list right now has about 30,000 artists on it and is $250 to purchase. When you purchase the mailing list, we actually send the list of contacts to the third-party mailing house of your choice. So you'll have to work with the mailing house that you can customize obviously the postcards or whatever you're sending, and we'll have the mailing house sign a single-use agreement just to make sure that it's only being used for the purpose of mailing postcards, and we'll send the list directly to them. Again, to do this is pretty simple. You just fill out the form, and choose mailing list. And basically, you'll provide the basic information, and you'll just give us the name of the mailing house and the contact that you're working with, so that we have that information available in order to send them the single-use agreement and the list directly when it's time. It's a pretty simple setup in terms of purchasing the list on our end. You'll just have to work, if you are interested in sending postcards, you'll just have to work on that aspect of it outside of ZAPP. And then our final option for marketing your event that I want to go over is the Independent Artist Podcast Promo. So this is a partnering option we provide with the Independent Artist Podcast. If you aren't familiar with it, the Independent Artist Podcast is a bi-weekly podcast where artists Douglas Sigworth and Will Armstrong interview other artists and discuss topics related to exhibiting at art fairs and festivals. The podcast is sponsored by the National Association of Independent Artists, or NAIA, and ZAPP as well. And it's available for free through pretty much every podcast streaming platform, including YouTube. And so it has a pretty wide reach and a pretty large audience of both veteran and emerging artists. At the time of making this option, I think it was, kind of 6 months ago, they've had about 45,000 unique downloads. That's definitely gone up since then. So they have a wide audience that you can advertise your event to. So that brings me to the actual offering, which is you can purchase an ad promo to run in the mid-roll section of the podcast. The host will essentially share information about your event, and they'll do it in sort of an ad spot period of the podcast, which is kind of after their introductory banter and prior to the featured guest of that week. So they usually have the first spot is a ZAPP promo, and then it'll be followed by a maximum of 2 promos for art events if you want to feature yourselves on their podcast. Each spot runs about 45 seconds in length. And what you do is you'll submit the information about your event to the podcast host and tell them what you're looking to highlight to engage with artists that are listening. And the host will then kind of promote your event in a conversational, entertaining manner. It doesn't really sound too much like an ad. They do a really good job of really blending it in with the content of the episode or relating to the event with their experience as artists themselves. So they just ask that you tell them what makes your show stand out from the rest, and they'll promote your event. They'll usually end with a sort of call to action to either apply to the event or to, check out anything else that you're offering. And it's a really unique way to get your event in front of artists. Each originally recorded promo is $500, and then every time they re-air your promo, it can be another $375. So they can run your promo multiple times if you'd like. So reservations for time slots need to be secured 2 weeks prior to airing. This is a little bit different to request this. Back on the Market with ZAPP page, when you get to this page, here's the top, you can click on Independent Artist Podcast. You can review all this information as well here and learn a little bit about the creators. Then you'll want to click Submit Podcast Inquiries. So this is a separate form than the one I've showed you, and you'll insert your inquiry form information here. Send them a message. This form will actually go directly to Douglas and Will, and they will follow up with you directly in order to figure out the details. So we host all this information on our page, but we don't necessarily take charge of the process or work with you on that. The Independent Artist Podcast team does that all directly with you. So again, I think it's kind of a unique way to promote your event in a different format. And those are the options that we offer so that you can market your event to ZAPP. Again, you can review all this information on the Market with ZAPP page. If you didn't see it earlier, it's in our Help Center. So let's just go back to the main page. So when you click on Help from the ZAPP admin dashboard, you'll get to our Help Center. And if you scroll down a bit, you'll get to Market with ZAPP. And this has all of the different options I just shared with you today. And you can review that information. You can click the marketing request form to request any of these 4 options. And then the podcast is just below. From Patrick, so $1,100 if you send the e-blast to all artists. Yeah, so that would be $1,100 to send the e-blast to all artists that are opted in to receiving promotional emails from us. Yes. And do I have any data about the difference these promotions make regarding the application numbers? So we don't currently. We mostly look at feedback we receive from customers. However, we are working on a feature that will allow us to track engagement from eBlast, looking at open rates and click rates, so that we can share that information with those who purchase eBlast to see how much of an attention their eBlast gets. And that feature is pretty close to being ready. So it's something that we'll definitely introduce, hopefully within the next year. And a question in the chat, this goes on every event receipt page. Yes, this is the receipt page for all of ZAPP, which means any event that is selling products. These ads, these kind of 2 that you see on the screenshot here are the ones that are currently up on the receipt page. But you can have one of these spots. that concludes my webinar for how to reach more artists with ZAPP using these options we have available to you. We're really excited about these show information feature and the receipt advertisement to give you even more ways that you can promote your event. I hope you're able to get inspired to promote your event, and I hope you're interested in some of these new options we have available to you. If you have questions specific about your event or anything else, please just contact us directly at zapphelp@westaf.org. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope to see you at our next webinar.